in Britain, they're, I kid you not, how can this be real? They are releasing convicted from prison in order to put people in prison for Facebook posts.
What's more, capable guarantees from a prime server activity from somebody who doesn't indeed live here. That's the address on everyone's intellect and ridges, right? Presently, where hundreds of agriculturists are battling for their jobs. This isn't fair. Another challenge. It's individual, it's passionate, and it's pulling a very rich person like Elon Musk into the highlight when ranchers cry for offer assistance. And one of the wealthiest men on the planet answers sometime recently, the country's pioneer. What does that say around authority? Elon Musk might have remained out of this. He's not British, he's not an agriculturist, and he's got sufficient riches to live 1,000 lifetimes without stressing almost charges or arrived debate. But here he is telling Kiss to take off ranchers alone. Think almost that for a minute. He too said this. I have incredible regard for agriculturists. They work difficult to put the nourishment on everyone's table. Why does Musk care possibly? It's since he sees something. Others are lost. He knows what it's like to construct something from the ground up, to pour your heart and soul into and thought, and perhaps that's why he's standing up for these agriculturists. Since their battle isn't close to arrive, it's around survival. The truth that somebody as distant evacuated as Musk gets this sometime.
I certainly consider myself an environmentalist, and I think it's hard to say that there's any single person who's done more to help sustainable energy and the environment than I have. So I speak with some authority and knowledge in this area. There's absolutely no need to do anything to farming. Changing farming will have no effect on the environment. It's totally fine. Stop attacking the farmers. They can just keep doing. They can keep doing what they're doing.
Recently, our claim pioneer does. Well, that's what's got individuals talking, right? Presently, Ludo is the epicenter of this fight. Ranchers from all over have accumulated in this little Welsh town, and they're not holding back tractors. Clog the lane, standards wave within the wind, and voices rise in harmony. No ranchers, no nourishment, they shout, and they cruel it. These challenges aren't almost legacy charges. They're around broken belief families who've claimed ranches for eras, are presently being told they might lose them. Envision working your whole life on a rive your grandparents once cultivated, as it were, to confront the danger of losing it all, since of an approach you didn't vote for. That's why these agriculturists are here, and they're not going domestic unobtrusively. It's not each day that Elon Musk gets included in something like this. He's a tech big shot, a extremely rich person, a fellow who's actually attempting to colonize damages. So why does he care around agriculturists and grains? That's the address on everyone's lips. Here's the thing, Musk doesn't have to be care. He's not losing rest over legacy charges, and he's certainly not losing cash. But possibly that's the point he's appearing up since he can, since he gets it. The esteem of standing up for individuals who can't battle this battle alone. And in doing so, he's putting a highlight on fair how disengaged Starmer appears from the individuals he's assumed to speak to for the ranchers. This isn't almost cash. It's around everything they've worked for, everything they've built. These aren't fair occupations. Their lives, their conventions, their prospects being passed down from parent to child era after era. Presently, it all feels like it's slipping absent. You'll be able to listen. The torment in their voices. They're murdering us. One agriculturist said, tears welling up. They're taking absent everything we've worked for. This isn't fair dissatisfaction. It's catastrophe. It's the feeling of being sold out by the individuals who were gathered to have your back. Or it's planning to have a gigantic effect. What happens on the off chance that these ranchers go on strike? It's not fair. Address any longer. It's a reality we might confront within the coming weeks in case they walk off the work. The swell impacts will hit all of us. General stores will run, moo costs will go up, and freeze buying. We've all seen how rapidly that can winding out of control. The truth is the UK depends on these ranchers more than most individuals realize. They're not fair developing nourishment. They're keeping the entire framework running, and in the event that that framework breaks, it won't fair be the agriculturists who endure. It'll be everybody he voiced his opinion on, once more recently appearing back to the ranchers in grains dissenting, and said, we ought to take off the ranchers alone, we ranchers. Gigantic appreciation for making the nourishment on our tables, which a UK rancher reacted saying thank you for supporting the farmers. Elon Musk. I know ranchers within the lake area in UK, they still wake up at 5 a.m. at age 90, a long time to go at the areas and care for the creatures. Dab, they are fit and sound entirety.
You know, and they unlike America, they don't have a First Amendment. You don't actually have freedom of speech. You know, like there's crazy stuff happening in the UK where you know, people are getting like 2-3 year prison sentences for Facebook posts. Yeah, like I don't think I should go to, you know, visit Britain because they're gonna like drag out some tweet and say 2 years in prison for this tweet or something bullshit like that, you know.
Towns of elderly dedicated individuals. This isn't the primary time Elon Musk and Keir Starmer have crossed ways. Either keep in mind that commerce proposition Musk supposedly pitched the one Starmer turned down. Better believe it, that's coming back to haunt him presently. Why would anybody dismiss a bargain with the wealthiest man within the world? That's the address. Individuals can't halt inquiring. Was it legislative issues, self-image, a basic misstep, anything? The reason it's beginning to see like a missed opportunity, and presently with Musk freely calling him out, Starmer's choice feels like an indeed bigger mistake. It's not fair Musk that Starmer appears to be brushing off. There's a developing sense that he contains an issue tolerating offer assistance. Whether it's from worldwide trailblazers like Elon Musk or grassroots voices just like the ranchers, this isn't approximately one separated occurrence. It's a design time, and once more Starmer appears to piece potential arrangements indeed when they're given to him on a plate. Take Musk's trade proposition as in case. A chance to bring advancement and speculation into the UK. And it was closed down. Why the same address applies to the ranchers? Why overlook their supplications when they're clearly advertising arrangements? Not fair complaints. Starmer's resistance doesn't fair, see resolved. It looks harming collaboration isn't a sign of weakness. It's how advance happens by closing individuals out. Starmer is building dividers where bridges are required. Individuals are taking note. Each choice to piece delay or expel feel like another break within the establishment. And the dissatisfaction isn't fair among agriculturists over the board. There's a developing sense that this resistance to exterior offer assistance is
been given prison sentences in the UK for social media posts where there was no explicit link to actual violence. But they just said it encouraged violence. I'm like, well, did anyone actually do anything as a result of this?
Holding the nation back in times like these. Administration is around, fathoming issues, not making more, in the event that anybody thought the challenges in Ludo were fair. A one-off occasion, they were mixed up, usually as it were the agriculturists have been clear. They won't halt until their voices are listened. Strikes are as of now in movement, but behind closed entryways, there's conversation of taking things advance, barricades, mass exhibits, and indeed facilitated endeavors to disturb supply chains. These aren't icon dangers. These are individuals who've had sufficient. Their dissents aren't almost approach. They're approximately survival. The legacy assess isn't fair. A monetary burden. It's a passing sentence for family ranches farmers. See no choice but to battle. And the battle is, as it were, developing more grounded. They're tired of being overlooked and belittled, and they're willing to go to extremes to ensure what's theirs. The ranchers aren't fair battling for themselves. They're calling on the public to stand with them to form this a national issue. After all, this isn't almost farms, it's almost reasonableness, approximately guaranteeing that dedicated families aren't rebuffed for needing to keep their bequest lively. The address presently is how distant will they go, and how long. Sometime recently, the government realizes this isn't a storm that will pass on its claim. Sometime recently, his race. Keir Starmer painted himself as a winner of the working lesson, a pioneer who would secure ranchers and provincial communities. He guaranteed to bolster understanding and decency, but guarantees are, as it were, as great as the activities that take after, and for many ranchers, Starmer's activities feel like a selling out. The legacy charge, changes are a coordinate inconsistency to everything he promised rather than bolster. Ranchers feel focused on rather than assurance they feel uncovered. The policies don't fare harmed, they cut profound, particularly when they come from somebody who once claimed to be on their side. This isn't almost legislative issues. It's around believe agriculturists believed Starmer would have their backs. Presently they're addressing whether he ever implied those words, or in the event that they were fair campaign talk, the dissatisfaction isn't fair.
You get taxed on what you own, you get taxed on what you buy, and you get taxed on what you own. And it's like, okay, this is, you know, taxes, taxes, taxes. And, you know, and then what does it get spent on? A bunch of the stuff it gets spent on you don't even agree with.
Budgetary, it's individual, and for a gather of individuals who live by their word, that kind of disloyalty is difficult to excuse as the dissents develop and the voices get louder. One thing gets to be clear, Starmer features a believe issue, and it's not fair. With ranchers over the nation, individuals are beginning to see the splits. The guarantees that got him chosen are unraveling, and the address everybody is inquiring is basic in case we can't believe him presently. Why did we believe him at that point? The pressure is mounting from the lanes of Ludo to the lobbies of Parliament. People are calling for Starmer to step down. They say he's misplaced touch, misplaced believe, and misplaced the proper to lead. The agriculturists aren't the only ones inquiring for alter over the nation. Individuals are seeking out for somebody who will really tune in, somebody who will stand up for what's right and for numerous, which means it's time for Starmer to go. This battle isn't around agriculturists or charges, it's almost administration, it's approximately believe, and it's around the kind of future we need to construct. Elon Musk's inclusion has appeared a worldwide highlight on what's happening in Ribs. But at the heart of this story are the agriculturist families battling for their way of life, for their future, for all of us. Presently, it's your turn. What do you think ought to Starmer step down? Ought to the agriculturists get the support they deserve? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you believe this story matters, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're always in the loop. Let's make sure these farmers know they're not alone.